hi everyone, including the regulars. Today we're gonna, as you can see the title, we're gonna be talking about the best IPL 11. And there's only been 12 editions, so it's only started in 2008. So we have very limited pool to choose from. But again, IPL includes pretty much everybody, and everybody's played from everyone, everywhere. Although I did notice that there's nobody from Pakistan, but I did notice Azhar Mahmood actually played earlier when it started. So I'm not sure if earlier some Pakistani player did play.
And then earlier Pakistani players used to play. Even Shoaib Akhtar has played. A lot of players have played.
Oh yeah, a lot of players have played earlier on. So then just after that they became this covert ban which nobody talks about. This is not official, but we're just not going to get anybody. You can get people from Afghanistan, but Pakistan is like, yeah, okay, absolutely. That's why on the record list they were like rock bottom because they've hardly played like few matches. And that's what happened. So Bikram and I have, as our pattern goes, we have different teams. I have not particularly followed the 7-4 rule, which is 7 Indian people and 4 foreigners. But again, I'm going to let you know that if I were to follow that rule, which 2 players I'll replace. Because right now I have 6 foreign players and 5 Indian players. So yeah, at the moment I have 5 Indian players. I can have actually 7. So we can actually work around that. Why don't we just get on with it, because there's been a lot of drama with IPL. Eventually it's going to start. I think by the time you see this is going to be around a month left for the IPL to start. So in UAE, it's going to be played in 3 different places: Dubai, Sharjah and Abu Dhabi. I think those are the only places. They have like nice lush grounds. People like it there. The weather is going to be good. Like, I don't think it's going to be terrible. It's not going to be bad because again they play here in April and May, and also it's like that's anyway terrible.
I think they'll be mostly playing in the night.
In the night, right?
Very few matches in the night.
Those guys do cloud seeding and shit anyway. They'll probably start doing snow seeding as well by then. So they'll have a lot of tons of stuff. Whatever you need, we'll have it. You'll have it. I don't know. Do they have cheerleaders in UAE? I'm pretty sure in Dubai and all they don't have that kind of problem, right? It's not.
I don't think.
It's not Afghanistan.
I don't think there'll be a problem. Yeah.
The biggest breakthrough will be the IPL moves to Afghanistan. That will be something. I don't know. There'll be like a lot of burqa-clad cheerleaders will be there.
Yeah.
It's like the COVID rules and it's like the Afghan rules. All right. Yeah. So it's a top bracket. I had 3 players to choose from who can open. Eventually, I had narrowed down to 3 people: Chris Gayle, Rohit Sharma, and David Warner. I personally really like David Warner, but I just feel like I didn't want. Again, I'm trying not to make it personal, so I feel like Chris Gayle is like legend of IPL, and I just didn't feel like that to drop him for David Warner. So for the opening slot, I went with David Warner and Rohit Sharma because Rohit Sharma has been really good. For some reason, he's played lower down the orders for Mumbai and lower down the order for Mumbai, and I don't like that. I'm not even sure he's performed that well. He's the opener. He needs to be at the... Plus, also, I wanted the left and right mix as well, so I didn't want to put both Chris Gayle and David Warner to open. And... But that doesn't mean it's the end of David Warner, but you'll come to know later on. But for my opening slot, I have Chris Gayle and Rohit Sharma, one super blaster and one somebody who can just be really good and actually play a very long innings. Higher chance than Chris Gayle. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I think Rohit Sharma has not been performing so well in the last 2, I think, IPL seasons. So that's why he moved himself down. And they already have so many openers, Mumbai.
Correct, that's also true.
This guy came in.
Yeah, but the conspiracy theory which I'm going to throw here is I think Rohit Sharma is trying to be Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So he's going to gradually keep moving down the order till he goes to number 11.
Okay.
So he can sleep longer and eat his like vada pav and chole bhature if he's like Delhi influenced. So that's what shows the belly picture. So which ones do you have? You all have similar because it's very difficult.
Yeah, I have similar because I don't know how can I leave out Chris Gayle and Rohit Sharma, and again, as you said, if Rohit Sharma is playing, especially in my team, because in my team Rohit Sharma is not captain, and I feel that is something that has weighed him down a bit when he plays for Mumbai. He feels a bit. I mean, he's a brilliant captain. He has won so many trophies. But I think his own performance drops down a bit, and then he becomes, because I've seen the you have not seen that documentary, right? Which is there on Netflix about the Mumbai Indians. Yeah. But in the documentary, I can clearly see that if he doesn't perform, and since he is the captain of the team, he kind of takes it very personally compared to if he is in the Indian team and he is not the captain, then he's more free. And that happens with a lot of players, right? We have seen this happening with Sachin as well. And so that's why I thought that if he's not the captain in this team and is opening like the Indian team, right? Like the Indian T20 team, if he's opening, so that'll be the best slot for him. So yeah, I have the same openers as you, Chris Gayle and Rohit Sharma.
Fair enough. So moving on, before I move on, I just have a fun fact. I was watching some other people's on YouTube, other people. So Cyrus Brocha had his, sorry, not Cyrus Brocha, Ajit Agarkar. If people remember Ajit Agarkar, he was the fastest to 100 wickets. He still is the second highest Indian fast bowling wicket taker in one day international. Stop forgetting Ajit Agarkar. He's real. And he used to bowl for India. And everybody remembers the Adelaide Test. Okay. Ajit Agarkar's team, like, he was rattling out his team. So he was saying Gayle, Kohli, then he said Sharma, and then he said, he always said the last names or whatever, how's people know people. But for Sharma, he said Sharma, and then he said Rohit Sharma. And then Cyrus Brocha, who was moderating, he actually told people, like, there are apparently 11 Sharmas playing in IPL. We can have a Sharma 11 after this. The best of Sharmas.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So because when you say Gayle, it's Gayle. You Kohli, it's Kohli. Villiers, De Villiers is De Villiers. Dhoni is Dhoni. But Sharma is like, that can be complicated. But although I've not heard any other Sharma who would be actually in the top 11. That's also pretty much true also. But it was a fun fact I noticed. So for the middle order, which is around, I picked them from number 3 to number 5. So 3, 4, 5. I had eventually shortlisted from my big list Kohli, Warner, because see, as I said, that's not the end of Warner just because he can't open. I still had him in the team, so I'm still considering. Let's see if I pick him. So I had 4: Kohli, Warner, De Villiers. I just love De Villiers. I just, if people don't like De Villiers, I think they just need to, they need to get some kind of, can I say this? COVID. Yeah. So, yeah, I hesitated, but I was like, yeah, might as well. And then I have the fourth choice I had was Suresh Raina, who is known as the IPL legend. And every time he's stroking something, I just cannot take my eyes off his belly. I mean, what the hell is there? What is wrong? And it has happened since he gotten married. And he keeps complaining, this Kohli guy, Virat has this, what's that thing Virat gets people do? It's not Virat's thing anyway. Yo-yo test. He's like, Virat is this yo-yo test. I don't understand it. I'm like, I'm a legend. I was like, stop talking like Donald Trump. Okay, you need to do that and stop eating parathas. He has that freaking belly. Even right now when I was watching him, I still had the goddamn belly, and God knows what will happen in Dubai, man. He'll probably come out like looking like that West Indian spinner who had just recently come to England, right? Forgetting his name. Forgetting his name.
Raheem something, I think.
Raheem Sterling. No, Sterling is it's Raheem something. His last name is a very English name. So he'll probably look like, people like, who's that? He's like, oh, it's Suresh Raina. I was like, didn't find. So eventually, I have gone with Kohli. I have not decided the exact order, but I was thinking like maybe Kohli can come first and then David Warner. Maybe because I'm saying Chris Gayle can just go all out. Because sometimes what Chris Gayle does, it starts to take a bit of time. He's like concerned, like, he needs to not get out. So I would say Sharma is already playing. You go from the ball 1, ball 2, whatever you want to go for. Don't worry about it. You play your game. If you connect, you connect. We'll be super hit. If you don't connect, we have Virat Kohli coming in, and then Rohit Sharma anyway is going to be fast, right? And then I wanted to get David Warner and De Villiers in. So this is very solid. David Warner can actually play his real game instead of sometime he playing this caution game at times. So I would want him to just play his real game at number 4, and then De Villiers is there. He just plays the way he plays. So there's no way. I'm personally dropping Raina, particularly because of the paunch. I am like, dude, seriously. And apparently he's listed as a bowler, but I checked his stats for IPL. He does not bowl in IPL. He's bowled like, 20 overs in freaking 12
Yeah,
editions.
because they have so many part-timers in their team.
Yeah, so I didn't select Suresh Raina. So, sorry, Raina. But come on, man. Everybody else...
Yeah, he did select Raina for the best one day 11. So, yeah, if you have not checked that out... you can check,
he was in my list.
Video.
I'm always considering. I'm just trying to, because I actually think he's actually a very good batsman. He just eventually when push came to shove, I just dropped him. But by the way, if I also have set up this thing, so if I were to drop one of these players between them, because I have, if you follow the standard 7-4 rule, 7 Indians and 4 foreigners, then I will actually be dropping David Warner and taking Suresh Raina. And the logic behind that is because because I have to, and why I'm not, either I drop De Villiers or David Warner, then I definitely not dropping De Villiers, not because I particularly think De Villiers is better than David Warner, which is possibly the case anyway, but my reason for dropping David Warner instead of De Villiers for Suresh Raina to get into that 7-4 rule is because David Warner is an opener. So anyway, he's off position anyway. So he's already off position. So it just made my life easier to drop David Warner and not De Villiers, which I feel anyway is better. But then David Warner is a legend. So I don't know how to compare legendary people. But yeah, I would have dropped him, and Suresh Raina is in. Suresh is like, yeah, the punch is in. I'm 2 more parathas. I'm in the teams. The problem with this is people are like me also selecting me in the top Indian 11 also for one dayers. He's like, I'm just going to eat parathas, man. Everybody selects me anyway. Fuck these people. So like everybody loves me. He's like Donald Trump. Okay, what do you got for 3 to 5?
Yeah, so I think I should have cleared this before, and that my team is following that 7-4 rule. So I have considered the rule while selecting my team. So that's why we have 2 different teams. Gaurav's team is out and out best 11 according to him, and it doesn't follow the 7-11 rule. But I have picked 11 which can actually play in the IPL with that rule. So so that's why you will see bit of strange selections later on maybe. But yeah, for my 3rd, 4th and 5th position, I have Virat Kohli. I think Virat Kohli, A.V. de Villiers, Chris Gayle and Rohit Sharma. These 4 players will always be there in anyone's team. So I have Virat Kohli and A.V. de Villiers at number 3 and 4, and then I have at number 5 I have MS Dhoni, because I'll tell you the reason later on, because then I'll have to reveal the 7th player.
Yeah, MS Dhoni just texted on Twitter. He said, "I'm not playing at 5, so just go fuck yourself."
So that's why I have.
He said, "I'm number 8. I'm a finisher." So yeah, I'm number 8. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's why I have someone at the 6th position who can come in at number 5 if required, if Dhoni doesn't feel like coming at number 5.
Dhoni will not come. So I can tell you. He's like, I'm the captain.
Yeah, so he's my wicket keeper and captain.
So he's a captain. He's not going to force him now. He's just going to retire. If the moment you tell him that you're not captain, I'm just retiring.
Yeah, because if he's not the captain, it's very difficult. And I didn't want Virat Kohli to be the captain, because I want, as I said, I want Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to play freely and not bother about captaining and everything.
It's all logical also, right? I mean, nobody would have, if you have other captains who already won, like you already have, if you're choosing MS Dhoni, you already have Rohit Sharma. Whether your logic is there that he's not his best, but the fact is he already has won Premier Leagues, right? So the IPL leagues. And Virat Kohli has not won, and his team has underperformed consistently. So I would like, he's already a 3rd, 4th choice anyway from that. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and that's true. And I think A.V. de Villiers obviously is a legend in all the formats, and especially in IPL. I think everyone loves him regardless of any team, any following, because there are a lot of people who don't like Virat Kohli because he's in RCB. But AVD is someone who is liked by everyone. Obviously, that's not the criteria of choosing him, but he has everything. I mean, and he's, I think, coming at 4 is the right position for him, because for me, Virat Kohli will play more like a person who will stay till the end. He doesn't need to score very quickly, and that's what he does in RCB as well.
The traditional sheet anchor role.
Sheet anchor, yeah.
Not like Akash Chopra though, thank God. But I know for whatever reason, I was on YouTube and I was pushing Akash Chopra is multiple times coming up his IPL team. I was like, of all the people who could have come up with, I had 7, top hits, and for I just said IPL best 11, and then from the top 7 hits, twice Akash Chopra comes. I was like, seriously,
yeah, he's very popular.
He's like, Jesus Christ. He had a very expected list or something at times. But yeah, fair enough. But he knows his shit. So yeah, I did see The bald
He's
to
very
lot of
popular.
hair. Yeah, I also saw the bald to lot of hair list. That commentator we have, who just gets older and gets more hair. Was
Yeah.
he was very respected, Harsha Bhogle, until he got fired because somebody doesn't like him, and then he started his own thing.
But he
which
got
happens.
rehired again.
Oh, he has.
And because of
Oh, okay,
And I
okay.
think
The
because
other Manjrekar is gone, right? Manjrekar is out.
Manjrekar is gone
doing his
for
he's
now,
doing his
yeah.
podcast now. Calls them videocast or something like that.
Oh, okay, is it? Okay, I'm not seeing that. I mean,
Oh,
why
yeah,
would I go on YouTube and see Manjrekar? That's
Oh yeah, his
like,
podcast was there. I just happened to see him. Like, I mean, he must have paid money, right? So his podcast was showing up to me.
and I think since we're talking about this guy Harsha Bhogle, I don't know whether you noticed, but because of Harsha Bhogle being fired, there was one person who really benefited. That was Mayanti Langar, who is
Oh, I know. I was just trying to think who this person is. No, I get it. I know. Another fat one. Yeah.
Yeah. She keeps getting fat, and she I don't know, keeps wearing very weird dresses. So yeah, coming back to this point. So yeah, I think MS Dhoni at number 5 if he chooses to come. Otherwise, I have someone at 6th who can come in as number 5 and play the role of the finisher. Because I mean, I don't know what type of Dhoni will come out when he comes to bat now. 5 years back,
But we're looking at more central, right? Because my idea of picking team is always, I don't know what you say, but this is I always feel. I don't choose their peak. I don't choose their worst. I try to choose when they play regular, and they're at that time they should be picked in the team. So for me, regular Villiers is definitely in the team. David Warner is definitely, even Suresh Raina. I was like, you consider him because the guy knows his shit, right? So when push comes to shove, you will not expect him to crumble because he's been there gazillion times. So that actually helps. And
especially in IPL, he's really good.
Yeah, he is really good. I mean, somebody who's been there forever. You can't expect them to do miracles, but he'll not start crumbling. Will not have a freaking complete breakdown, or just the England, just like domino effect. Everybody just keeps like falling down like a domino. So that I can trust a little bit at that level. So Dhoni also, but what happens with Magic? I don't think I will expect magic from him at a basic level, but at an average level, I can still expect magic from maybe Villiers because he can just be playing normally and just start just belting 4 after 4 after 4 without really taking exorbitant risks. And now suddenly you feel like you had like 22 and over to chase in the last 3, and suddenly he got like 28 in 1 over and like 16, and suddenly you're like, we're almost home. And then people start panicking, they ball on no ball, and then next thing you know is you hit a 6 and then you hit another 6 on the no. It's like suddenly match is over. It's like crazy. So
yeah. Okay, so that was my
you're done.
middle order. Yeah.
Then I just remember that because I did say, as we always talk about, once the podcast becomes more popular, so I did call this lady fat, and then you doubled down on that by calling her fat, and then you tripled down on calling her out on her dressing sense. So wait for the hate to come eventually. Just be prepared.
I don't think we get hates for that.
Huh? What did you say?
I don't think we'll get hates for that.
No, for fat shaming, then you're doubling down on my fat shaming, then you're tripling down on her clothing style eventually, longer run. So buy yourself some good scotch, good Macallan and everything. So it will be useful later on. Maybe we can call Manish to get some. So, yeah. Oh, he sent me some old pictures today, like from your wedding.
Me too. Yeah,
he does that. He always doubles down. For him, we are like this twins, like the same people. It's nice. I've still to respond to because I was in the zone and because we already delayed it. And once you delay it, I just started with zone in. So I was in the morning, I was just checking out everybody's opinion on this thing before I push mine out. Okay, so now in the lower, as I call lower order, but also at the lower order, you have to get people who are like really good at hitting. I have divided into multiple categories and like 2 categories. One is like wicket keeper, so I can only choose one wicket keeper. So I had 4 down. I had shortlisted 4 of them. Joss Butler, who had an amazing season last year, I think, before he left. MS Dhoni, of course. Rishabh Pant, people should remember. And Johnny Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow only played 1 season. But boy, man, if you see his hitting stats, they're all over the park, man. The guy is like crazy. And this guy is like true. He's got a bit of a cusp of between Englishman and Scotsman. Or Irishman also. It's like a more 3-way thing. Because the guy is like, obviously he's English, But at the same time, there's a lot of things about him which feel a lot of Irish and Scottish. It's like, he seems angry. It's just same way as like Ben Stokes. And their colors also, like all the hair colors also, like all very
even
light.
eyebrows.
Eyebrows. They can easily get into, if they do a rerun of GOT, they can easily get through in those roles as those old people like look like snow. So, and including eyebrows. Yes, that's right. So eventually, I'm not a particularly big fan of MS Dhoni, but as I said, like I just wanted to make a decision which is just logical, and because Dhoni is definitely very capable wicketkeeper, gazillion amount of experience, already captain teams. He has lost a lot of finals, which was a concern for me, primary concern. But at the end of the day, I felt like if I'm going to choose Joss Butler, Rishabh Pant or Johnny Bairstow, who's not even played that much, Rishabh Pant's wicket keeping is not that great, but he's a very good hitter. But I already have 4 top line batsmen, and Dhoni can also still do the job. It's not like Rishabh Pant will be the most reliable person on, and Joss Butler is. I think eventually I was thinking Joss Butler, but again, just not had enough experience in that. And Joss Butler's wicket keeping again very suspicious, can be very suspicious at time. So I just felt like I went with MS Dhoni for the wicket keeper. So that guy, I don't know, I've not set an exact number for him. Actually, it's number 7 because he's not going to come before this. Like, I'm taking a nap. I'm 38 years old. So I'm taking a nap. Sometimes he takes a nap. These days his naps are like he disappears for like 6 months. Like, oh, I'm back now. So, and then it's like, where were you, buddy? It's like, oh, well, who cares? So, and the all-rounders, again, I already wanted to put 1 all-rounder instead of 2, and because I have 3 bowlers, like I wanted to get proper bowlers. So for all-rounder, I like a huge list of everybody's an all-rounder. Ravindra Jadeja, Shane Watson, Andre Russell, Hardik Pandya, Glenn Maxwell and Dwayne Bravo. I think a lot of people will pick with Dwayne Bravo because he has a lot of longevity. But this time, I personally eventually zeroed it on Andre Russell because he does bowl. Because because I'm only picking one all-rounder, I need to have somebody who can bowl. So because I just really wanted to make sure that this person can bowl, because later on, because I can't expect Virat Kohli or David Warner, AB de Villiers or Chris Gayle. Chris Gayle can bowl, but Rohit Sharma cannot bowl. So, and I was like, somebody can take care of it a little bit, but I wanted, because I have 4 bowlers, I want at least one person who can actually bowl. Not that Andre Russell's bowling record is any good. This guy is giving like more than 8.5, right? If I remember right. Very high, but again, that can happen depending on somebody is coming in. So there are a lot of factors that come into play. So if he's really only bowling at death, which he does at times, so 8.5 is not that terrible, because people get hit for like 20 runs and over at times, and people are just going nuts completely. And so for me, the pick will be Andre Russell, and if I were to adhere with that 7-4 rule, then I will pick Hardik Pandya, because I'm going overboard, because I've run out my numbers on this. So I have to take. Then I'll pick Hardik Pandya. Although I don't know what his situation will be, but his wife, because she's not Indian, so she's probably not feeding him parathas. I hope so. She did give him a baby, which has been everywhere, all over in the place. They've been like putting it out everywhere. I don't know what this guy is doing right now. I hope he gets ready for IPL, but he's like, it's just IPL. I have to bowl 4 overs. Throw my ball around everywhere. So like, but yeah,
no, I think it'll be serious for him, because he has to get back in the Indian team.
Plus he's Indian logic, right? Now I have a baby, I have to feed them. Except they forget that they already have gazillion dollars in their bank account. It's like, I've got my
that's
career.
That's the lifestyle, right?
I love this. I love the players, like footballers, the cricketers, even Kevin Peterson, whom I totally see. Kevin Peterson, like, our career is very short. People need to understand we only play for like 10 years, maybe, or 15 years max. I was like, dude, within 1 year you make more money than anybody ever makes. What is wrong with you? Like, seriously, like, don't even talk about that, son. It's just because your expenses are high, that's why you feel, and you get used to certain lifestyle. The fact is, you have gazillion amount of money. If I played 1 year in IPL, I would be like, I'm pretty much set. So for me, this is number 6 and 7 is Andre Russell. It will be difficult for Dhoni, but they can decide, because Andre is big guy, so they can actually fight. But if it's Hardik Pandya, they will like, okay, Dhoni, no problem. I will come after you. Dhoni bhaiya. So this is my pick for number 6 and 7, and my wicketkeeper captain MS Dhoni. If I was not clear in that, So mic to you.
Yeah, so I've gone with a completely different idea, because I am going with specialist. I don't have a all-rounder, which is unheard of at this point of time. But I feel that the specialists, if you have enough of them, and since I think going back to your ODI team, because we did a ODI best ODI 11 both for India and international. I think your idea was also similar, that you want if you have such great batsmen up front, you don't really need a cover for them in the bowling department, or in the
Correct.
in the lower middle order. So yeah, and that was one of the thing. And the other thing was, since I had to follow that 7-4 rule, so, and I already have two foreign players. One is Chris Gayle and the other one is ABD. A lot of people were thinking, ABD is foreign player. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So,
I was
but
thinking
yeah,
the same
he
thing, by the way, just now. I was like, ABD Villiers is foreigner? Where is he from? I think wasn't he from South
yeah.
Andhra Pradesh?
He's from South. Yeah, don't
Yeah, he's from
nobody
definitely from
remembers
South.
Africa. Just he's
Yeah,
from South because he plays for Bangalore.
correct.
So, so yeah, I think that was my idea, because we have such great batsmen up front that we don't really need some bits and pieces player. And I know a lot of people will get angry, especially those West Indians.
Yeah, we
In
can't
fact,
get fired,
looking
so
at
don't worry.
my team, I
Manjak,
only have one
Manjak,
West
yeah.
Indian. Okay,
Okay,
so
go on.
number
What is it? What
6
is it?
is Rishabh Pant. Surprise,
Rishabh
but
Pant. Is he gonna keep? What are you gonna do? But Dhoni's
no,
keeping,
he'll
right?
not keep. Dhoni is keeping. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want Rishabh Pant to keep. He's only there to, bat, and I'll have to hide him, or in the field. Not hide, because he's decent fielder, but I think he drops a lot of catches in the field, because I think all his life he's been a wicket keeper. But I
Because
think
he keeps
can
thinking he has his big gloves. He's like, the gloves are there, the gloves are there. And the ball goes through. It's like, oh, it's the
yeah.
gloves.
Yeah. We have seen that happening when
Yeah.
he plays for India, because that's the same thing happens when he plays for India. Dhoni is keeping and he plays as a specialist batsman. So in this team also he is doing the same. And at this position, I had Yuvraj Singh also under consideration, because he can bowl as well.
Correct.
But for some reason, I felt that, again, we coming back to your point, that we always talk about how they were playing when they were normal, and Yuvraj Singh has not really. I mean, he has had some good innings up front when he started, but then in IPL, I think he kind of underperformed most of the time. So that's why I thought that Rishabh Pant is someone who can play the role of this finisher, or this person who can just come in and bash the ball, because it's 2020, right? We don't really need stability that much, and for stability we have Virat Kohli and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So I thought that it will be good to have Rishabh Pant either coming at number 5 or coming at number 6, depending upon what Dhoni feels like, because he's the captain. And so that's why Rishabh Pant is there. And then number 7, I have Rashid Khan. So now my bowler starts. So I have 5 specialist bowlers. I don't have any, all-rounder. But I feel that Rashid Khan can be considered as an all-rounder, because he has improved in his batting a lot. Even if I don't know if you remember during the World Cup matches, the cricket, the 50 over World Cup last year, he played some good innings later on. And even in IPL, I think he has won few matches due to his batting as well. So I feel that, I mean, I don't really consider him out and out all rounder, but I think right now in IPL there are a lot of players who are not good at any of either bowling or really great at batting, but we consider them as all rounder, because it's like just have to perform for a couple of overs, right? Either with the bat or the ball. So in that regard, I feel that Rashid Khan is my all rounder. And I have few backup players as well. So I have a 15 member squad, and I forgot to mention that if Dhoni is injured or he's not playing, I can bring in Gilchrist. Then my 4-7-4 rule goes for toss. Then I have to adjust. But I have these 4 players who are in my. I'll tell you the 4 reserve players later on. I think it will be better when we announce all the 11
Yeah,
players,
don't
then
put
I'll...
it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you're just screwing up.
Yeah, I think
screwing.
that'll complicate things. So yeah, so number 7 is Rashid Khan. As I said, he's a brilliant bowler, especially in IPL. He has been very effective in SRH. And I was just thinking when we were talking about this IPL 11, if we could just combine the batting of RCB and bowling of SRH, that'll be it, I think. So yeah, so Rashid Khan, again, very good bowler, and he is also the other reason is that he is a timeless young guy. So even if you are playing this team after 10 years, he'll still be very young. So so that's why I think that is one of his strengths as well, apart from being a great bowler. And then how many positions we have to talk about?
6, 7.
6, 7, right?
6,
Okay,
7.
yeah. Yeah, so these
All
are
right.
my
So
these two are my 6, 7.
it's logical. For whatever reason, I didn't really think much about Rashid Khan because I don't watch IPL that much. And the moment I saw your list, also I was like, yeah, Rashid Khan is definitely very great. His IPL stats probably did not exactly justify exactly how good he is, but he is really, really good. Because I normally don't go on stats because I watch IPL. That's where I saw him, and he was really, really good. His stats don't show up as exactly as that great, but I think he's really good. And yeah, he can bat as well.
He plays in BBL as well. Plays a lot in BBL. Big match.
Yeah, could be definitely very useful. Rishabh Pant is obviously it's obviously up in the air. It's a debatable topic, but I think Rishabh Pant has some serious talent. Whether he performs or not, that's another topic altogether. But then he definitely has something like he has the chutzpah, he has this spunk. So I mean, I definitely go for it. The reason why I'm slightly instead of picking 5, because this is IPL, this is 2020. For me, this is like this is just all freaking smash and grab shit, right? So also because I also wanted to make sure that my Chris Gayle plays like Maverick Chris Gayle. My David Warner plays like Maverick David Warner. So if when I pick the one day side, just to let you know that they will play like themselves. They have enough time. They don't have to go out like nuts. They can play caution and then they can hit at the right time. But here, because I want these people to go completely nuts, that's why I was like, I need another person, because I have the MS Dhoni, who would be like, probably have to wake him up at 5 o'clock or something. It's like, okay, you have to bat. I wanted, and then although he's a finisher, but you can't really trust him because he's going to be super slow. I wanted somebody who is completely a nut job, like completely who just goes nuts. And Andre Russell is that guy that who will go completely nuts. So I was like, that's why I did not, I was like I showed you a list. I have like tons of people on all round. I don't like any of them as an all round because I don't think they're really all, because the real all rounders are like Ben Stokes and all, but Ben Stokes has hardly played IPL and it didn't feel right to put Ben Stokes in there. But Ben Stokes is a genuine freaking all-rounder. Andre Russell's stats do not really commit to it, but the fact is he has this almost 200 strike rate. So if a push comes to shove and Dhoni is falling asleep on the pitch also, this guy can still get the job done. So that was my logic of picking this guy. And I was very keen on Ravindra Jadeja, who's not been picked by anything I watched on YouTube. People didn't even consider Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja is like, only Manjrekar is happy about that. I think there's some conspiracy run by Manjrekar. So alright, moving on to my tail, which is all premier bowlers. So bowlers. I mean, I feel just the same way I felt about Chris Gayle. I feel the same way about Lasith Mandinga. If I don't, another Paunch guy. But yeah, gets the job done. Just really good. And I think recently I've heard not much about Sunil Narine, but I remember watching for the first few years and Sunil Narine was just epic. Like people used to be scared of him. Hardly gives any runs. Right now also he's still giving around 6.5 something, which is ridiculously good. And he would take wickets. It's just, I think last few years he hasn't been to his, because he was the Lionel Messi of that spin bowling and he was so good. So when he became like all right, so people were like, okay, now he's not that great, but he's actually never gone for tons of runs. When Sunil Narine goes for runs, people get to know that he went for runs because that's how good he is. And because when Lionel Messi does not perform, everybody gets to know. I mean, it's a big comparison. But I feel like Sunil Narine is another IPL legend for an off spinner, because people are putting Harbhajan Singh, other people in the same bracket. But I'm like, these people just bowl and they don't bowl aggressively. They just keep tying them down and somehow they end up getting wicket here and there. you have to make sure that what kind of wicket are you getting. Sunil Narayan would get a lot of time he'll get very big wickets. Like the
Plus, he's a
top,
good batsman. He opens now for
exactly.
Kolkata.
Then the other thing that they're doing with this thing, so this guy can come in handy in that way. So if my everything collapses, which can happen because a lot of people I have from RCB or ex-RCB, and they do collapse randomly. So I was like, we can have Sunil Narayan going nuts with Andre Russell, and just people go like, yeah, fist pumping, and 11 ball 50 together, six balls each. So I had good strategy. So I had a list of Lasith Malinga, Sunil Narayan, which I picked definitely. Shane Warne also, because although Shane Warne only played like 3 IPLs, but Shane Warne is Shane Warne, and he can also be a captain material. But then again, I felt like because he's not going to be captain, he's played less, so let it be. Then I had Harbhajan Singh. I was not keen on picking him. R. Ashwin, I think he has some anger issues when he is in IPL. He's just like, he just feels he's too cool for school. I don't know what is, like, he doesn't seem right. He seems to be just upset about stuff. And he just
seems like he's I mean, it feels like he's very, like a very intelligent student, and he has to sit with all these low backbenchers. So it feels like that for him.
Well, they've released him, right? They've released him. He's gone to Delhi or something now.
No, he's gone to Delhi. He's going everywhere. He's getting released and going everywhere.
And while my research, I found out Amit Mishra, which I had heard about, but his stats are like amazing. So I had to put him on the consideration list. And I was like, why nobody talks about Amit Mishra? Just because he has no hair and he has a paunch.
He's not glamorous enough. Yeah.
He is not glamorous enough. Then so I've not picked any of these, Shane Warne, Harbhajan, R. Ashwin, but they were considered. So now I have final 3. I've picked 2 of them. I have Bhuvneshwar Kumar, I have Yuzvendra Chahal. And
who also got engaged recently.
Yeah, recently with some Instagram star or something.
YouTuber, I think.
YouTuber or something, one of those, yeah. So, and Jasprit Bumrah, of course. Now, interestingly, I have actually not picked Jasprit Bumrah. I picked because there's no Chahal in competition between Jasprit, because there's a different bowler. I wanted to pick a leg spinner. So, leggy, I went with Chahal, because I've not taken Rashid Khan, obviously. And Bhuvneshwar Kumar was between Jasprit. When I sat down, I was always going to pick Jasprit, but I checked their stats and I just try to remember everything that has happened. Jasprit's stats are not as good also, and Bhuvnesh's stats are like so much better, and Bhuvnesh played twice as much. So it just doesn't feel right for me to pick Bumrah over Bhuvneshwar, who's played twice as much and has actually better statistics than this guy. So I just feel like at the end of the day, I just have to be fair. And if it's like in the longer run, Bumrah should be able to like overtake this guy. But even if your stats are not showing up as great as you are, because he's also giving more than 7.5 runs, right? And Bhuvneshwar's stats are better, plus played twice as many IPLs. And when I'm choosing for IPL for the entire length of 12 seasons, I went with Bhuvneshwar Kumar on that way, on that length. And because I already have Lasith Malinga, who can actually, he's not similar to Jasprit, but because they're toe crushing and all that, and Yorkers and coming in, and Bhuvneshwar is a completely different bowler. He's a swing bowler. So if there's a swing, he can do that. And Lasith Malinga is doing something else. And then I have 2 spinners, one off spinner, legendary. And Chahal is very smart. So I like that part about Chahal. That's why I was not even going to consider Kuldeep. The Kuldeep.
Yeah, he gets hit a lot, Kuldeep.
Yeah, and plus he just starts like, I don't want to like cry shame him, but yeah, that stuff happens. I think he needs to like get his EQ in place. I definitely a very, very good spinner, because this guy knows how to spin. It's just that Chahal is very smart, like very smart how to bowl.
Let's just say that he has a bigger heart, because even if he goes for a run,
and he's the greatest skinny person ever, skinniest person ever on earth. That way it just works for him. So that's my 11. I'm gonna quickly run through it. It's like Chris Gayle and Rohit Sharma opening. Then it's Virat Kohli, David Warner, AB de Villiers. Then MS Dhoni captain and wicketkeeper, Andre Russell, Lasith Malinga, Sunil Narayan, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and Yuzvendra Chahal. I can't pronounce his goddamn name. And if I have to follow the 7-4 rule, then I'll replace Hardik Pandya with Andre Russell and Suresh Ponch Raina with David No Ponch Warner. So yeah, that's my final one. I have another surprise, but we'll come later. But you go through with your 8 to 11, which I'm pretty sure all the bowlers, right?
Yeah, Rashid has already been declared. Because I have, as I said, I have 5 specialist bowlers. So as I said, I already have Rashid Khan, who is a specialist bowler. Plus he can bat as well, decent bat. And so my rest of the 4 bowlers are starting with Mitchell Starc. So yeah, it's a very interesting choice because he is not playing IPL anymore. I
Hardly ever
mean,
plays, yeah.
recently he decided not to be in uh, the IPL auction.
Is he
He
finally
didn't want
out?
to.
Is he finally out? Because there was some like there was thing like he said if it's starting in October I'll play or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but
No.
he definitely is one of the greatest fast bowlers right now, and he has also played for RCB, so I've seen him play. Plus, his Yorkers are legendary, and he's left-hander, which is again another variation because most of the bowlers which we are talking about, which we have considered for the 11, they are all right-handers, so right-hand bowlers. So yeah, I think Mitchell Stark is good. He can bowl good up front. He can bowl very well in the depth. So that's why I have him over Lasith Malinga, because I also was considering Lasith Malinga.
You
But
have
then,
dropped Lasith Malinga?
yes, I have dropped Lasith Malinga.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So
I
yeah,
am
I have
I
plenty
am
of reasons for
stunned.
that.
I am stunned. The whole world is stunned. We need a silence for 5 seconds.
Yeah, and all the Sri Lankans have already switched off this this podcast. But I have not picked it. You have picked him, so no need to, hate us. And
I'm
I also
shocked.
wanted to have someone different than Lasith Malinga, because see, Mitchell Stark again, he's a better batsman than Lasith Malinga. Plus, he's a very good fielder, which I think is a very good quality to have in a T20 match, because in T20 match even a single run here and there
Hmm.
can be a big difference. So I feel that I already have a couple of slow movers in the field, so I don't want Lasith Malinga also to add to that, because there is Rishabh Pant and there is Rohit Sharma is a decent fielder, but again he's not the quickest. So so yeah, that's why I have Mitchell Stark, because I just felt that he'll be lethal both up front and at the end. For the other spinner, because I already have Rashid Khan, I have Anil Kumble. Yeah. So Anil Kumble, again, I have to consider the one reason is the 7-4 rule, because I already have four foreigners in the team: Chris Gayle, AB de Villiers, Rashid Khan. Rashid Khan is also not Indian, so he is a foreigner, and
Oh Jesus.
Mitchell Stark. So I already have four foreigners, so I have to take Indians, and I felt that in the current situation, and uh, Anil Kumble has also played IPL a lot. I think he has played 4 seasons, and one of those season was in South Africa. Remember when we were not able to hold the
Elections.
IPL
Yeah.
here? Yeah, then we went to South Africa. So he has played in South Africa as well, and I think his best bowling performance is in South Africa. So I mean, he's just a very street smart, like Chahal, and plus he has experience, lot of experience. So I just felt that he'll be different than any other bowler we have right now in the IPL, because he bowls with a great pace, and especially on the Indian wickets, it will be very difficult to negotiate him after having Mitchell Stark bowling at the end, and later on I will tell you who the other two bowlers are, which is not a big surprise. Very, I think everyone will have those two bowlers,
Hmm.
and those two are Bumrah and Bhuvaneshwar. So I've kept Bumrah because I had that choice. I didn't have to pick one of them. So I have Bumrah and Bhuvi both in the team. I just felt that because I had to pick Indian bowlers, right? So if
Hmm.
we have to pick two Indian fast bowlers, I don't see anyone else being picked for any team, even if it's ODI or T20, or I think even for Test, I would still pick Bumrah. Sorry, Bhuvi. I know in Test he gets dropped very often because he is
Hmm.
not very fast, but I feel that he brings a variety to the attack, because he can swing the ball. Plus, if you see in IPL, he is a very good death bowler as well. So that's why I have Kumble, because you have such great fast bowlers up front: Mitchell Stark, Bumrah, and Bhuvaneshwar. They will not give much runs. Maybe Bumrah will give some runs, but there is this weird combination of Rashid Khan and Anil Kumble. So it'll be very difficult for batsmen to get settled, because one bowler, Rashid Khan, will be bowling slower in through the air, and then Anil Kumble will always be sending out darts. So it'll be very difficult for the batsmen to settle. So that was my 11. So I'll again start from the beginning. I have Chris Gayle at number 1, Chris Gayle and Rohit Sharma opening, then Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, MS Dhoni as the wicketkeeper and the captain, Rishabh Pant like a finisher, he can float between 5th or 6th position, and then I have the bowlers slash all-rounders, because I consider Rashid Khan as an all-rounder. So Rashid Khan, Mitchell Starc, who can also bat decently, then Anil Kumble, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Bumrah. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar also can bat. He can't score quickly, but if there is a collapse, then you can, he can hold one end up. So I think that's my 11 IPL 11, and I am considering the 7-4 rule. And I have 4 players in the reserves as well. So I have Gilchrist as a reserve for Dhoni. I know we have Rishabh Pant as well, who can wicket keep. But if I have to swap Dhoni with someone, I will swap it with Gilchrist, because he is again an explosive batsman. And for Rashid Khan, so if there is a situation where the pitch is, it's very rare that will happen, that the pitch is very fast and it's not conducive for spin bowling. Maybe in future IPL gets postponed in India and they move to England, something like that. So for such unexpected situation, I have Ben Stokes as well as the all-rounder, and I have Lasith Malinga as well as the reserve. And then for who can swap with Mitchell Starc if required, because Mitchell Starc also gets injured a lot, and probably not now, but previously he used to. And then I have Shane Warne as well in the reserves, who can swap with Anil Kumble. So I have old school bowlers, spinners as well in the reserve. So that was my 11.
+4. Okay, so I think you made almost everybody like a batsman at the end of the day when you kept saying. I was like, if this guy goes to Bumrah also is all-rounder, then they'll be crossing like okay. And I think a lot of people will think like, see, the only reason I didn't put Mitchell Starc in there, because the simple reason is that he's a left armer and I wanted a left armer. The fact is, my idea was that Mitchell Starc has not played enough IPL and it was just unfair on that. That was my idea. And Anil Kumble, I'm sure people will say something like that. Has Anil Kumble ever played T20? Has Anil Kumble even played one-day international? Because people have forgotten this guy. People like, he's not even played one-day. But the guy is like massive wicket taker in one-day international. But that's the level. The moment you said Anil Kumble, there will be a lot of people like, those 17-year-old kids like, Anil Kumble? When did he play IPL? What is he talking about? He's never even played one-day international. He was a test bowler, right? Specialist only. So that's the kind of comments you can expect in the longer run from that. But otherwise, like for me, Mitchell Starc, that's the only logic for me. Mitchell Starc is a great one-day international, great shorter form bowler. He will be picked in any goddamn team. It's just that because either he gets injured or he just leaves, and now he's again not playing this time because he's like, I don't want to play. So I feel like this guy was not super committed to IPL for the right reasons, of course. And I think he had some drama as well. They didn't pay him or something because he got injured and he had to sue them as well. That was just a lot of drama. On top of that, I have created you've given 4 backup players. I have an entire backup team. So this is the entire team. I know. This is a complete backup team.
When I got your list first time, I was like, what is this? Is this the whole IPL team for the whole IPL tournament, like 7 teams or something?
So this is the team specifically made. So this is a team which is like when your entire team gets COVID, so this entire team replaces the team directly. Okay, so this team is it's not a serious team. It's slightly in jest. Okay, and I also kept it as a team like some people who probably don't go out of their house much, and they probably have not got any COVID because of different reasons, either like family reasons, because of personal reasons, because of lazy reasons. I have lazy players as well there, and for whatever reasons, right? So But I'm not calling it the COVID 11, although officially you can call it COVID 11. Unofficially you can call it COVID 11. I'm actually calling it more than that. I'm calling it CCCC substitute 11, which means concussion, which has happened to people. Like people get hit on the head, things happen to people. That's concussion is a real thing. COVID is also there. One C is concussion, one C is COVID. The third C is clash and coma, which means things like that happen between Gambhir and Kohli. Things happen between Rohit and Kohli. These people start having a brawl and then they fall down. We need other people to replace because more than one people can get injured. And the final part is compassion. This is not a regular compassion. This is a COVID-driven compassion. My cat is feeling unwell. I need some compassion break. Suddenly in the middle of it, fucking people are like, Bhuvneshwar Kumar has to go back home because, you know, his son or daughter, let's not talk about his sons and daughters, but some other person he loves, they have actually suddenly have a white hair because they're still 15. So he has to see his niece and give her like, you know, pep talk and shit. So that kind of compassionate leave, because there's a difference between bereavement leave. Somebody's father, mother, somebody dies. At different, but compassion. So this is like a CCCC team, which is like a concussion, COVID and fighting clash between people. And the compassion, which is not a regular compassion. This is more toned down compassion with like people are just getting worried about everything, which is more COVID driven. So I had the entire team, which is not a complete serious team. Like this is serious players, but some of them people I've not put so much thought on it. I've just put players which just first came to my mind. Okay. Adam Gilchrist, which is definitely serious. Then Sean Marsh, one time IPL legend for a short time, then he disappeared. Viren Sehwag, some people really like Viren Sehwag right now. One of the guys who has never left his home because he was like, this is what I wanted. COVID. I don't leave anywhere. I just stay at home. He will be, by the way, he will be very fat when he comes out to play. Remember
you like
that.
Fat people, I know that.
Yeah, then exactly the moment Raina sees him, it's like, why are people calling me fat? Have you seen Viren Sehwag? And the guy whose hair product did not work spent a lot of money, but I think he got back in the endorsement thing. Kane Williamson, people have forgotten him. Very good player because he's in New Zealand, so New Zealand has no COVID. And Kevin Peterson probably is also in New Zealand. God knows where he is, but he's perfectly okay because he looks.
Africa,
he looks like he looks one of those guys like who's going to be very careful about it. And Robin Cheesu-Thapa, his name is Robin Thapa, not Cheesu-Thapa. That's something I say because he's been shunned by everybody. So he probably locked himself in a room and never came out. He came out as like, what COVID? I've never heard of it. When was the last time you were out? I don't know, last year. I don't know. Since they dropped me in December or November, whenever the IPL auction happened, I've been. But by the way, he's been picked by another team, I think. Rajasthan Royals? Yeah, I think Rajasthan Royals have been picked up. Yeah. Shreyash Iyer, another guy is like, dude, why don't anybody consider me? I'm really good. And Shreyash Iyer is really good. He looks very confident as well. Yeah, Delhi captain as well. Then our like Yuvraj Singh, who's probably living in some place in Canada, is like, oh, I'm just chilling. I'm just on the beach. So he's probably fat enough or fit enough to play. And then Imran Tahir, because every time this guy will take a wicket, he runs so far away. So the moment COVID happened, he probably ran so far away that COVID could not touch him. And we need some excitement also. Now, they're COVID substitute. They can't be all like, oh, we have to replace because the team like under quarantine right now. Then our favorite Ashish Nehra, somebody has to crack jokes, make everybody laugh, and also be a left arm bowler. Then we have Dale Steyn also quarantining most of the time because he's not been playing. He always talks about I'm playing, I'm coming back. That's the kind of stuff I was like, and then he doesn't come back.
Yeah, then he comes back for a couple of matches.
A couple of matches. Like sometimes in the middle of the match, he's like, okay, I'm done. Like, you should only come back for T20 so you can see. We come back for a test match, in the middle of the test match, you're gone. And like now they're one player down. There's no substitute for that. Like you're just in the So when that happens, so my entire team: Adam Gilchrist, Sean Marsh, Viren Sehwag, Kane Williamson, Kevin Peterson, Robin Uthappa, Shreyash Iyer, Yuvraj Singh, Imran Tahir, and Ashish Nehra, and Dale Steyn. This is my COVID substitute 11 when you have to put the rest of the entire team in quarantine. These people come in and take over. Right now we have to make COVID 11 like COVID substitutes. By the way, that thing is going to happen. I think they're going to have concussion and COVID. I don't think they have a concussion substitute in IPL because like who's going to get concussion, but people can get concussion. And by the way, they're going to have COVID substitutes. I don't think who's going to get COVID tested within the middle of the match, right? But people might get COVID tested outside, and if there's somebody is, then they will get a replacement.
Every match, they
will get a replacement. because I think sometimes they'll just tell people like, somebody who's not performing is like, you've been tested positive. He's like, but nobody tested me. He's like, you're out. He's like, we need somebody else. This is the only way we can get somebody else. We can't. We just gotta get other people. He's like, and because COVID tests are like so all over the place, nobody knows what is happening. I don't know if you were watching this saga before Pakistan landed in England, which by the way ended last night, and Pakistan lost like a match which was unlosable, which is like not as bad as Australia did in the third test. Or second test, was it? Second test. But it was like, dude, and the worst players were playing. Like Vokes had like he's supposedly a all-rounder, but Vokes had a very torrid time with batting, and Joss Butler, I don't need to talk much about Joss Butler's batting in test matches. He's been so bad, this is impacting his wicket-keeping, making it even worse. But both of them came in at 117 for 5 and did not get out till almost the end. And the Pakistani, now because of this thing, I think their captain's going to get sacked because he was already not making any runs, Azhar Ali. And now the poor guy is gonna get sacked because of this thing. So, sorry, what you were saying something?
No.
Where were we at? There was something. There was some tangent.
We were talking about what we were talking about.
This is completely lost the chain of thought. Like
Pakistan,
the saga.
Are you talking about the Pakistan saga that some people got?
Saga, man, dude, they were like, you're positive one day, 3 minutes later you're not positive, then they're positive. Apparently, like, there's people who like positive 5 times, then secondly, then next thing get a negative. I was like, what is happening? What kind of tests are you guys giving in? Are these like some kind of like these tests are not right. This is like the same company who made those speed guns, right? Which showed this guy, Shoaib Akhtar, bowling at like 170k per hour or something like that. Right. So like, do you guys have the same freaking company that's doing the same thing, who's also doing COVID tests right now? He's like, oh, it's fast. They're just fast. They're like, yeah, it's COVID. It's COVID.
I mean, it can happen because they're getting all their stuff from China, so that can happen. That's not very reliable.
China probably has a very good, reliable COVID kits and everything. And by the way, Vivo also left. I think there was sort of drama, and then eventually, because everything money, right? Money talks. So although there was sort of pressure, but BCI got it, like made sure that Vivo does it. Also the fact that because if Vivo had moved out, it would be problematic. And then later on 4th of August, Vivo said, screw this thing, we are firing ourselves. So they fired themselves. Apparently they've suspended themselves for a year, but they need to get, BCCI, IPL needs to get a sponsor, because they're like, there's gazillion amount of money Vivo is supposed to pay, right? And now because all these dramas happened, and Vivo is probably like, I think they're not going to pay any money to these guys.
Yeah,
so
I think there are few companies which are in the run right now. There's obviously Jio is everywhere.
Reliance has rejected already, by the way. Rejected.
Oh, rejected.
Reliance is rejected. They don't want it. They just feel it's not. They don't want to invest in that. But there will be few companies who will be invest. You know what? The company. By the way, this was the thing I was thinking. Who?
Uni Academy, right? Some Unacademy or Uni Academy.
Uni Academy? I thought Byju's. No, I'm not talking about real ones. I'm talking about somebody which people are not talking about. I think it's going to be some company which is selling COVID medicine, the COVID vaccine and the COVID meds. They're going to be like, this is our time, man. We're going to sponsor everything and everybody's going to buy our COVID vaccine. And then everybody buys their vaccine. Eventually nothing happens. And they're like, what the hell was that? It was just placebo. And people are like, oh, see, we gave it to 100 people. 99% of them did not get COVID. But they wouldn't have got COVID anyway. It's like, testing everybody. And then what happens is they test these people, and then those Pakistani sticks where it shows them positive, and 6 days later they're fixed after having the vaccine. It's like, no, they never had COVID in the first place. What is going on?
And there was a funny incident because of this Pakistani players getting COVID. There was this, I don't remember the name of the guy who got tested positive again and again. So he was left out in Pakistan. And then there was this guy who posted on Instagram or Twitter that today I met this Pakistani player in the garden or something outside, and then he took a selfie with him. Then he said later on, oh shit, I googled why he's left out of the Pakistani team. He has corona. So it was so funny. And
he obviously does not have any corona. He's like moving around everywhere. So it's like, and corona is weird anyway. So even if you have it, it doesn't matter a lot of times, right? So I'm forgetting his name. He's the veteran with the Hafiz, right? Mohammad Hafiz. Mohammad Hafiz got like 16 positives and 78 negatives or something like that. So this guy was like constantly getting tested. He was like their guinea pig. And finally it was like toggling. Eventually they left him. So, but if this was really serious, after Pakistan, all the players literally getting it, and then they still come across, see, even England, everybody knows that, it does not matter. You having COVID does not mean anything. What means is, and plus now all the research is saying all asymptomatic people are not spreading it anyway. So they will not let these people come in their country and play, right? They know as long as we test these people and we are fine. Whatever you guys doing, they were not even bothered about it. So whatever Pakistani people are doing, even they're lying, they're still coming, right, with COVID. But these people don't care about that. They're like, you come here, we will fix you. And they put these people 14 days in some like a very basic hotel, like which is considered 3-star.
That's what I think even Australia is going to do with the Indian team.
Yeah, I mean you have to. I mean, like you have to, and that's with Indian team
when they tour later this year.
And that's fair enough, whatever, because Australia also, because they have the second wave right now, particularly in Victoria. So I just heard yesterday, then their chief said that we will play the biggest day which happens in sporting every year in Boxing Day. So they said they will play at MCG. They will do everything to play at MCG as long as they can get the crowd. Obviously, if they don't get the crowd, in Australia, not India, right? They can't afford not to have they can't lose that many receipts, right? So if they have they can't get the crowd.
Yeah, and it's a big ground. They can easily have.
Dude, we're talking about millions of dollars. They don't make that many millions of dollars in cricket. So if they can't get people in MCG, they'll not play at MCG. So what he was trying to say, we'll do everything to get people in. We'll do everything to make it happen. As long as they can get people in, we are on. But if they can't get people in, then they will be moving to Queensland, wherever, Sydney, wherever it is, that they can get people in. Because they can't play, they can't lose. That one day receipt is like millions and millions. So even if the Boxing Day test moves to some other place, it will still, the aura will still be, but like for one time, it's like moving to some place else. So it's like, IPL moving to UAE, it will still attract a lot of crowds, right? Because this is our one chance to have this event, because it will never come back here. So same way, MCG is like for AFL also, Australian Footy League, always, like in the history for like hundreds of years, all finals have happened there. There have been a couple of things here and there, but this time they're saying that they may actually have to move it to some other place, because Victoria just got a second wave of COVID, but there's still a lot of time and people will find out eventually. So on that note, I think this is our podcast, which eventually runs into COVID substitute team, which is also very important. We should make sure that everybody's there. Now, I'm not going to make another COVID team now just because these people get COVID. So that way, it's like a vicious cycle. It'll keep going. Just play with COVID.
By the time this team gets COVID, the other team which was in quarantine, they'll start getting negatives, right? So they can come back.
I'm just saying, as long as your team has COVID and my team has COVID, everybody plays. Because nothing has happened to you anyway, right? So I don't know what is the problem anyway. So it's like, just keep playing. Just have some magic spray, have some vitamin C, vitamin D, and that omega thing that people have, and carry on. Patanjali, and carry on everywhere. So that will be so. And anyway, if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. Give it to your friends, family, everyone. And also, I'm very interested in your 11. You can also make substitute COVID 11 as well, or another 11 for COVID 11 to COVID 11. But please give us your 11. Give us your views. And if you really have to give us hate, you can still give us hate, but please think about before giving hate, because right now in the world, what we need is a little bit less hate. I'm not asking for love. I'm just saying less hate. Less hate is good. Okay, with C19, which is, I'm calling it C19, which seems less harmful. So it's COVID-19.
I've noticed you have started talking like Trump.
Yeah, no, because I love Trump. I love him. I wanted to do his podcast on that video. That video got taken down from YouTube. Do you know that?
Oh, is it?
Not YouTube, but YouTube India. And I have to get somebody to download it from me, like do the whole either VPN thing, or just get somebody in Australia or US to just send it to me from there.
Yeah.
And also, I think if you take the membership from YouTube, like they keep selling every freaking video. Like, please take it. Then it'll be available in your country. They just want money.
That's an HBO video, right? It's a HBO.
But if you have HBO, then you can get it. But if I can't get HBO from India, right, I'll have to pay a lot of money, because it'll last a lot of dollars.
HBO content content is available on Disney Plus or the Hotstar.
Hotstar. I'll have to double check. I don't want to check it in the middle of the thing, but
yeah.
But
you can check it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but
it's been taken down from
there.
It's been taken off. I'm interested because I wanted to do podcasts and I wanted to just do it, because a lot of people have already done it. the US, talk show hosts and all, they've already done all those things, made it more funnier than it is. It's very popular, obviously, everybody knows. So that we were talking about the Trump interview with Jonathan Swan, the Australian journalist in New York, in United States. So it's become very popular on YouTube. Recently been taken down from India, but it's still up there. It's
there on
around.
the internet somewhere.
And Donald Trump tells everybody how amazing I am. I am
he got
really amazing.
he got documents also to prove it.
I've got the documents. You see the red color? That means we're the best. And I'm the best. And it happened because of them. And did you know, Jonathan? He tells the interviewer, did you know, Jonathan, when I took over, they didn't even have a COVID test. I made it. Jonathan's like, what are you talking about, mate? What are you talking about? It's 2016. There was no COVID. Why would they have tests? He's like, yeah, well, all I'm saying is that I made the test. I did it.
I'm the best.
So, yeah. On that note, have a good weekend and take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Like and subscribe if you want. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.